back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Fimco Industries 40-gallon 3-point hitch sprayer. I've had this model sprayer, not this exact one, we'll talk about that later, but this sprayer for over 1.5 years now. There's a lot of pros to having this. It's been a blessing on our property. We got 7 acres, we got a gravel driveway, so today we're actually going to be spraying the driveway here to get rid of some of these root weeds. But there are also some cons to this model. We've had a lot of issues with it. We've had to have it replaced. However, with that being said, I do believe the pros outweigh the cons. So stay tuned if you want to learn about this sprayer and see it in action. One of the nicest things about this sprayer is all the options that you have with it. It's very simple to use. The only work I had to do to get this thing running was to wire it to my tractor. We did wire it up to the front of the tractor to the battery. Ran the wires, you see the red wires here along the bottom of the tractor, underneath the tractor, up to the right side handlebar behind the joystick. That's where the on-off switch is, and then these wires run back to the actual sprayer and plug in. Total capacity of this sprayer is 40 gallons. It comes with a boom in the back that has 4 sprayers on it. One thing you got to watch when you're extending this is that you don't pinch the tubes behind here, behind the spring. Very simple usage of the boom. In order to turn it on, you can, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but right here it says boom, and right here is your valve, on, off. Like I was saying earlier, you got to watch with these tubes here. This is the one thing I don't like about the design. You can rip your tubes pretty easily when you're opening and closing this. One, they'll get caught on the spring, or it'll get caught on the back side of the boom here like that. So you got to make sure when you're opening and closing this that you make sure that tube is out of the way. You probably can't see it on the camera, but there are markings along the side of the tank that say 5 gallons, 10 gallons, 15, 20 gallons. You can see through the tank and see where your current water level is at. Right now we're right here. Today we're trying to get to 20. So one of the things that I love about this model is it comes with a handheld sprayer, and this thing shoots your product very far. It comes with a long hose, so what I typically do is I'll get this thing all hooked up and I will wrap this hose, I'll take it off from around the tank and I'll wrap it around my tractor, and then I will literally sit in the driver's seat of the tractor with the nozzle in my hand, and I can spray fence rows as I'm driving. Up top, this is where you fill up your product. You dump your product in first and then your water, depending on what you're using. You got your pump right here. This is a 2.5 gallon per minute max flow pump, and it goes up to 60 psi. And then on the side, you have your drain. All right, we're just about filled up now, so we're going to take the hose out, turn that off. All right, so getting into this, in my opinion, there might be more ways to use it, but there's essentially 3 ways you can use it. One, you can use the boom and drive as you're spraying. That is great if you're using fertilizer and you're maybe doing some weed and feed in your yard or some pasture pro. works phenomenal for that. You extend these booms out, make sure that you don't pinch your tubes, and drive along as you're spraying. Make sure that you're getting some cross coverage on as these things are shooting down. That's one way to use it. That's one way to use it. The second way to use it is to park the tractor, turn on the pump, and use the spray nozzle. So I'll show you that now. You want to make sure if you're doing this, it's not on a windy day, especially if you're using the boom and driving with the tractor. If you're using that on a windy day, it's going to be blowing all over you. It's going to be blowing into areas where you don't want it. It's not going to be healthy for you or the crops that you're not trying to spray. The third way that I use it, probably my most favorite, because you can cover a lot of ground and get a lot of things done, is to wrap the hose and the sprayer nozzle around your tractor. And have your nozzle up there like a pistol, and you can drive as you're using the sprayer. Works really good for fence rows, and I'll show you that now. All right, we're gonna walk out here. This is a week later from the time we shot that video. Show you how the sprayer did, how the product did. That's just glyphosate, I think is how you pronounce it, or Roundup. It's what we used on the driveway. So as you can see, it's very convenient to have that on your 3-point hitch, and it's a lot quicker than a backpack sprayer. You can see when you obviously when you overspray, what happens. But I'll see if the video does it justice. The nice thing about the boom is it gives you a straight line of spray. So that was all weeds along the gravel driveway there. You can see the nice line it gives you. But I can now go up there with my bucket with full of stone and re-stone any areas that I need to. So this is the driveway. This is what we were using the boom on. Here is the original area we were spraying with the spray nozzle. Super simple. Here we sprayed along our septic. And we have a French drain around the property. This would have been a lot of work to go around with a hand sprayer. So that's why I was saying earlier, there's a lot of pros to having this unit. Now I'm going to talk about the negatives as we're walking around this fence row. It worked very well at first, and then all of a sudden it started leaking from the bottom. Well, as I looked at it, you'll see on the bottom of the tank, if you do look for one, they actually put screws up into the tank to hold it to that metal platform that attaches to the 3-point hitch. So I took it back to Tractor Supply where I bought it from, and they replaced the whole unit. And then I didn't use it in the winter. I got it out this spring, started using it. Started having the same issue. It leaked from the bottom. I called Fimco. They explained that sometimes people drill a little bit too far up into the tank with the screws, causing it to leak. So they sent me a new tank. And then another issue I had when I got my second unit from Tractor Supply, it didn't come with any hose clamps. So I fired it up, not realizing that the hose clamps weren't on, and it started spraying product all over the place. Not a big issue. I had some of my own hose clamps, but if Fimco ends up watching this, those are just the issues that I have with it. You know, Tractor Supply replaced a whole new unit, and then Fimco replaced the tank, and they were very supportive. No issues whatsoever with that. One of the biggest pros for this unit or something like this is if you have a large property. Like when we bought this property, this was mostly, I don't know, like 60% weeds and 40% grass right here. We've done a couple of treatments ourselves of weed and feed, and it's worked out very well. Most of that has been done with this sprayer. Huge pro, having that boom on the end where you can just put your product in the sprayer and then get out here and drive. It's not a huge hassle. It doesn't take long. And it's a lot cheaper than paying somebody else to come out here and spray your own property. So if you have the tractor, this might be the way to go if you want to treat your own property with weed and feed, with 2,4-D, or with other items. Talked about a lot of the pros, and we're going to sum it up with the cons. Again, that design with the screws going into the bottom of the tanks, I don't quite understand that. But in my experience, I've had 2 tanks, and both of them have leaked through those screws. So the replacement tank that I have in the garage, when I put that back on the frame, I'm not going to use the screws as Fimco has recommended. They said just use the bars that go across the top of the tank to hold it down, and then if you need to throw a ratchet strap on there, you can. And then originally had the pump go bad. That's not Fimco. I'm not sure who makes that pump, but it was only maybe 100 gallons through that pump, and it went bad. It wasn't serious use or anything like that. So Those are the only cons I had. But with that being said, what I've learned through those cons is that Fimco has phenomenal customer service. They take care of their customers and they warranty their product, and the same with Tractor Supply, at least in my experience with that unit. So I was able to learn that. Appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below, and I'll do what I can to answer them. Thanks again.